Welcome to this City and Guilds exam delivery guidance webinar. Thanks for coming, everybody. This webinar focuses on support and guidance for centres in relation to exam administration, invigilation and the return of exam materials for dated exams. My name is Josh Keeling and I'm an operational delivery manager in the operations team at City and Guilds. Please do pop any questions you might have during the presentation into the Q&A function. We do have a number of colleagues on the call who will be picking up questions from there and answering them as we go. If you don't feel comfortable typing your questions into the Q&A function, please feel free to email these to centreoperations@cityandguilds.com. That's centreoperations@cityandguilds.com, and we will respond by email. The last thing to mention before we get into the presentation is that the slides and a recording of the webinar will be circulated to you as part of our regular monthly newsletter, which will be sent out at the start of next week. Okay, as I mentioned, there are a number of colleagues from City and Guilds on the call. If you have any questions, please do submit them through the Q&A function as shown on the screen here. And my colleagues will answer them as we go through the webinar this morning. Okay, so we've structured this webinar as an exam delivery roadmap. We'll be looking at the end-to-end process for delivering dated exams, starting with the dispatch and receipt of materials, then moving on to look at storing exam materials, setting up the exam room, removing materials from secure storage, completing invigilation certificates, delivering the exam, and finally returning exam materials to City and Guilds. Before we move on to the roadmap properly, though, we're going to have a look at why it's important to follow exam guidance, and we're going to provide some additional information on charges, access arrangements, and the resources which are available for support. So on this slide, we've set out why it's important to follow exam guidance. So if question papers aren't held securely, results may not be valid. If the invigilation certificate isn't accurately completed, this could lead to missing results. If exam materials aren't returned on time, this could result in delays in issuing results. And if the front page of the answer booklet is not completed correctly, there could be difficulties or delays in marking. So it is really important to follow the exam guidance that we'll be setting out today. Okay, so on this slide, we've got a bit more information for you on the administrative charges we apply. These charges are applicable for a number of reasons, including requests for emergency question papers, late return of exam scripts, insufficient postage for return of scripts, and charges for reviews of marking. When you access the slides for the presentation, you will be able to click on the link and access the full list of charges on our website. This document is also located within the Centre document library on our website, so you can find it through there as well. Okay, so in terms of access arrangements, City and Guilds has a separate application process for access arrangements. This is outlined in the documents which are linked on this slide. And just to show you, that's the front page of our access arrangements guidance. The link to the guidance is on this slide for you as well. And just to reiterate, if you've got any queries on access arrangements, please contact our policy team using the email address provided on this slide, and they will be able to assist you with those queries. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the support resources which are available for you now. So we'll start by looking at the resources available on the JCQ website. The JCQ website provides a range of resources for you to support you in the administration of exams through the exams office tile shown in the image on the right here. If that looks a little bit different how it has before, that's because JCQ have recently launched their new website. So it does look a little bit different, but the support is contained within that tile there for you. That includes guidance webinars, bite-sized video guides, and links to various information documents, such as the JCQ instructions for conducting examinations document and their guidance on access arrangements as well. There are also links to helpful document templates, such as a materials receipt log and a second pair of eyes check form. And we'll be looking at those two documents in particular later on in the webinar. The last point to make is that there is a link to the JCQ website on this slide for you. And as I mentioned previously, the slides will be circulated for you at the start of next week. Okay, so we just wanted to mention the JCQ instructions for conducting examinations. The information in the webinar today is taken from this guidance document, and there is a link to the document on this slide for you. All technical exams, so exams for technical qualifications, must be conducted in accordance with the guidance set out in this document. And these instructions must be followed by all centre staff involved in the administration of exams. That includes the head of centre, SLT members, exams officers and exams teams, invigilators, and communications professionals such as language modifiers, practical assistants, prompters, readers, and scribes. And if I just click through here, that is the front page of the instructions for conducting examinations guidance document from the JCQ. You can access the document through the link on this slide, or you will be able to find it through their website as well. Okay, so moving on to look at some of the support resources offered by City and Guilds. We are obviously dedicated to ensuring you have the right support when you need it. You'll be able to find all of that on our website under the Exam Support Hub. So that includes internal City and Guilds guidance, but also links to further resources from our regulators. There is a link to the Exam Support Hub provided on this slide for you, or you will be able to find it if you search for the City and Guilds Exam Support Hub, or go to our website and navigate to it through our website as well. So there's a lot of helpful information on there for you. In terms of exam resilience and contingency guidance, our emergency situations affecting assessment delivery guidance document covers important information on those emergency situations that might affect assessment delivery and how to approach those situations. Centre staff and all those involved in the administration of exams must be familiar with this guidance and the steps that you should take in the event that a timetabled exam cannot go ahead, especially due to incidents such as severe weather or public health incidents. That's just a couple of examples for you there. So you must have a robust contingency plan in place, which covers all aspects of assessment delivery and administration in the event of a serious national widespread disruption to assessments. And if I just click through, that's our emergency situations affecting assessment delivery guidance document. And there is a link to the document on this slide for you as well. On this slide, we've provided some screenshots and links to the guidance documents from City and Guilds and from Ofqual for you. So there's our guidance document there, and there's a couple of guidance documents from Ofqual which can be accessed on their website. And as I say, the links are provided there for you as well. And finally, we just wanted to highlight our guidance on managing cases of suspected malpractice in exams and assessment. It's really important that you ensure the correct invigilation processes are adhered to, and you must immediately alert City and Guilds to any suspected malpractice within exams. There is a link to our guidance document on malpractice on this slide for you. Please note that this does say 2024 to 25 on it, but the guidance is still relevant and it's still the document you should be referring to. When this is updated in future, we'll obviously notify you of that. Okay, so we're just going to start moving through this roadmap now, and we'll start by looking at the dispatch and receipt of exam materials. On this slide, we've got a bit of a who, when, and what for you. So in terms of who will deliver materials, we use Parcelforce to deliver all exam materials, and this is done through their special exam delivery network, which is specific to awarding organisations. Please note that this is not part of the Parcelforce yellow label service. In terms of when will materials arrive, this will usually be 3 weeks before the date of the exam. Modified question papers may arrive separately from the main dispatch of question papers. And what must centres do? Centres must ensure that envelopes and boxes containing confidential materials are signed for and immediately transferred to secure storage. And we'll be discussing that in a bit more detail a little bit later on. Okay, so a log must be kept at the initial point of delivery of confidential materials. JCQ has produced a materials receipt log for you to use for logging and keeping track of the deliveries of exam materials you have received. And this is shown on this slide. We'll just go through a few of the key points now. So each awarding body's deliveries must be logged. The number of packages and boxes received must be tracked. Care must always be taken to ensure the security of exam materials. So exam materials must be kept in a secure storage facility. And as I said, we'll be given a little bit more information on that later on. After they've been moved to secure storage, question paper packets should be checked against the dispatch note, and the date and time of this check should be recorded. Check-in must take place as soon as possible on the day the question papers are received. If that's not possible, for example, due to a late delivery or the unavailability of authorised members of staff, the material must be kept in its dispatch packaging and transferred immediately into the secure storage facility until it can be checked. The check-in must take place no later than the next working day. Following those checks, question paper packets should be arranged in timetable order to reduce the possibility of opening a packet at the wrong time, and must then be immediately locked in the secure storage facility. And question papers must always be kept in their sealed packets until signed out for the appropriate exam session. And the name and role of the member of staff carrying out these tasks should be recorded. It is best practice to have deliveries checked by at least 2 people. And there is a link to the materials receipt log on this slide for you there. Okay, so on this slide, we're looking at how exam materials will be packed. Exam materials will be packed in this order. The delivery note will be at the top. This will be followed by the exam stationery, so question papers, invigilation certificates, and student barcodes. And then the return labels and return bags will be packed. And we've just got an example there of a delivery note for you, just so that you can recognise what that will look like when it arrives. In terms of the question papers themselves, the question papers will be in security bags with the exam details visible through the security window. The exam stationery for cohorts will be placed on top of the relevant question paper packets, and everything will be banded together. And student barcodes will be placed on top of the exam supplements, separate from the invigilation certificates. And that's to make it easier for you to locate the correct student barcodes to go with the relevant question papers. So please do remember that question papers come packed in bags of 5. You'll need to make sure you have enough question papers for the number of students who will be sitting the exam. And that's what one of our question paper delivery packets will look like for you. Okay, so on this slide, we're looking at how you can notify City and Guilds of any problems. So we must be informed immediately if there are any problems with the exam materials. For example, if it appears that the parcel or one of the packets has been opened during transit, and therefore there may have been a breach of exam material security. If there are any differences between the materials received and the dispatch or delivery note. If the materials have been significantly damaged in transit or upon opening. If the materials appear not to meet your requirements. If the materials have been received in error, or if you've not received the materials 2 weeks before the exam. And to notify us of any issues, please contact our customer support team using the details provided on this slide for you. Okay, so moving on now to look at storing exam materials. So question papers and pre-release materials issued by City and Guilds must always be stored at your registered address in a secure locked room with a secure locked storage facility, for example, a safe or security cabinet. Exam stationery, for example, answer booklets and formula booklets, must be stored in the secure room, but do not have to be stored in the secure storage facility. So question papers and pre-release materials have to go in the locked safe or security cabinet within the secure room, while exam stationery such as answer booklets and formula booklets have to be stored in the secure room, but do not have to be stored in the safe or security cabinet. Okay, so we're going to look at what can be stored in the secure storage facility. As mentioned on the previous slide, your secure storage facility is the locked safe or security cabinet contained within the secure room. Your secure storage facility must only contain current and live confidential awarding body material. So past exam question papers, internal school tests and mock exams must not be kept in the secure storage facility. They can be stored in the secure room, but not in the secure storage facility. Okay, so we're just going to move on to look at setting up the exam room. On this slide is a checklist you should follow when setting up an exam room and making sure it is suitable for exams to be held. So you should ensure that exam rooms are at a comfortable temperature, that exam rooms are appropriately lit, that exam rooms are appropriately ventilated, that exams are not disrupted by noise, and that materials which might be helpful to students are not visible, for example, on displays or boards. Okay, so moving on now to look at the exam room clock. A reliable and accurate clock must be visible to each student in the exam room and must be big enough for all students to read clearly. The clock must show the actual time. Countdown and count up clocks are not permissible. And you must carry out regular checks in advance of exams to make sure all clocks used in the exam room are in good working order and show the same time. Okay, so in terms of information provided to students, board, flip chart or whiteboard should be visible to all students, showing centre number, subject title, exam paper number, the date of the exam, and the actual start and finish time for the exam. The JCQ warning to candidates poster and the JCQ unauthorised items poster must be displayed in a prominent place outside each exam room. That could either be a hard copy A3 paper version of the poster, and it's fine for that to be in either black and white or colour, or it could be a projection of the poster onto a wall or screen where all students can see it. We provided links to each poster on this slide for you, so you'll be able to access those through this slide. Okay, we're going to move on to look at seating plans now. So we've got an example of a seating plan on this slide for you, and you can see the exam details, clock and invigilator table at the front of the room there. And we're just going to run through a few points to remember about seating plans. So the minimum distance in all directions from centre to centre of students' chairs must be at least 1.25 metres. All students should face in the same direction. Each student should have a separate desk or table, big enough to hold question papers, maps if appropriate, and answer booklets. And students who are not working at individual desks must be far enough apart so that their work cannot be seen by and contact cannot be made with other students. Okay, so moving on to look at removing materials from secure storage. On this slide is a checklist for you to use when removing materials from secure storage. Okay, so you should remove question papers from secure storage no more than an hour before the exam. Carry out a second pair of eyes check prior to question paper packets being opened to ensure that the correct question paper packets are being opened. We've got a bit more information about the second pair of eyes check on the next slide for you. You should only open question paper packets in the secure storage room or in the exam room itself. You should affix each student barcode onto the front of the answer booklets and maintain the security of the question papers at all times. Okay, so on this slide, we've provided some more information on the second pair of eyes check. JCQ has produced this second pair of eyes check form for you to use. Okay, so the location, date and time of the check and the relevant awarding body must be recorded. The component or unit code and the number of packets checked must be recorded. The name, role and signature of the first and second person conducting the check must be recorded. And the day, date, time and subject of the exam being checked must also be recorded. If it is subsequently identified following the second pair of eyes check that the wrong question paper packet has been opened, it must be resealed and the incident must be reported to City and Guilds Investigation and Compliance Team immediately. And there is a link to the second pair of eyes check form on this slide for you as well. Okay, so now we're going to look at affixing barcodes to question papers. When doing this, you should place the student barcode sticker onto the front of the answer booklet and make sure that you stick it carefully within the border of the student space on the front of the answer booklet, as shown on the slide here. Please do remember, answer booklets are scanned when they are received back at City and Guilds, so it is very important that the barcode is attached correctly onto the answer booklet. Please do not photocopy any packet labels or student labels, and please do not put a barcode label on a question paper which is not being used. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next stage of our roadmap, which is completing invigilation certificates. So on this slide is some information on the role of an invigilator. The role of an invigilator is to ensure that exams are conducted according to JCQ regulations, ensure the security of the exam materials before, during and after the exam, prevent possible student malpractice, such as use of mobile phones or other devices, and prevent possible administrative failures, such as incorrect barcodes attached to student papers or students sitting the wrong question paper. Okay, so on this slide is some information on the requirements for an invigilator. Invigilators must be familiar with JCQ's instructions for conducting exams. They must always be able to see every student in the exam room. They must be familiar with any specific instructions relating to the subjects being examined, and they must inform the exams officer or head of centre of any concerns regarding the security of question papers. Okay, so now we're going to run through what an invigilation certificate is. The invigilation certificate is the exam attendance register. You must indicate to us whether every student is present or absent by marking this on the IC. For any student marked as present, there must be an accompanying completed question paper. And all invigilation certificates must be signed and dated by the lead invigilator and the exams officer. Okay, so on this slide are a few do's and don'ts for completing the invigilation certificate. So please do use a dark blue or black pen. Please do make sure that only the pre-printed documents provided by City and Guilds have been used. Please do make sure that the invigilation certificate is accurately completed with present or absent students marked with a tick. And please make sure the invigilation certificate is signed and dated by the lead invigilator and exams officer. And please do not use a red pen. Do not cross out any of the pre-printed details on the invigilation certificate. Do not substitute students under any circumstances. And do not add extra attendance ticks where no student details are present. Okay, so on this slide is an example of a City and Guilds Invigilation certificate for a written exam. There are a number of things to highlight on this invigilation certificate. So in the top left corner, you've got some pre-printed text containing centre and assessment details. And we do ask you to not write anything here or alter that text in any way. Moving down the left-hand side, we've got student details. So that's a list of students who've been entered for the exam. And there'll be a maximum of 18 students per page pre-printed on here. As you can see, we've got pre-printed enrolment numbers, pre-printed student names, and we also got an attendance log there to be filled in by the invigilator. You can see the space to tick present or absent, depending on whether a student is in attendance or not. Moving down, we've got additional students. So there is space provided for 2 additional students per page, as authorised by City and Guilds. At the bottom there, we've got a section for examiner use. And again, we ask you to not write anything there or alter that text in any way. On the right-hand side, we've got invigilator and exams officer details. So we ask you to add the invigilator full name in block capitals, and then they should sign and date it as well. We also ask for the date of dispatch of the exam materials back to City and Guilds, along with a signature from the exams officer. Moving down the right hand side there, we've got these performance codes, which you can see there. They're for examiner use. Please do not write there or alter that text in any way, shape or form. And then lastly, we've got the return address at the bottom there. So the invigilation certificate contains a pre-printed address to which the exam scripts must be returned. And again, we ask you not to write anything there or alter that text in any way as well. On this slide is an example of a City and Guilds invigilation certificate for a multiple choice exam. There are a number of things to highlight on here as well. So in the top left-hand corner, we've got the pre-printed text containing centre and assessment details. Again, we ask you to not write anything there or alter that text in any way. We've then got the student details. Again, they'll be pre-printed for you on here. That's a list of students that have been entered for the exam, again with a maximum of 18 students per page. Moving down to the bottom left, we've got a space for additional students. There's space there for 2 additional students if that's authorised by City and Guilds in advance. Into the middle of the document, we've got the attendance log there, where you'll be able to tick present or absent depending on whether the student is in attendance. Again, on here, we've got invigilator and exams officer details. So we ask you to add the invigilator full name in block capitals and for them to sign and date it. We also ask for the date of dispatch of the materials back to City and Guilds, along with a signature from the exams officer. And then lastly, we've got the return address in the bottom right-hand corner. So the invigilation certificate does contain a pre-printed address to which the exam scripts must be returned. And again, we ask that you don't write anything there or alter that text in any way. Okay, so moving on to the next stage of our roadmap, which is delivering the exam. So on this slide is a checklist for delivering the exam. So question papers for absent students must not be given to any other student. The correct examination paper must be given out to the correct student. Students must use a pen with black or dark blue ink only. The pre-printed student barcodes on the front of the exam must not be defaced, as this may result in the paper being voided. And additional pages and word processed exams must be attached to the answer booklet for that student, and we'll be giving you a bit more detail on that in a few slides time. So in terms of exam stationery, invigilators must take all reasonable steps to make sure that the following conditions are met. The correct exam question paper should be placed face up on students' desks, as well as any other required materials. The official exam stationery for the unit or component, for example, answer booklets and additional answer sheets, should be issued to students. No other stationery, including paper for rough work, can be provided. And in the exam room, students must not have access to items other than those stated in the instructions on the question paper, the stationery list, or the specification for that subject. Okay, so in terms of exam start times, it is vital that the usual JCQ regulations are adhered to, including maintaining the security of exams by ensuring that they start at City and Guilds published start times of 9:30 for morning exams and 1:30 for afternoon exams. JCQ guidelines do allow you to vary your start times by 30 minutes earlier or later than the published start time. And if you do that, there won't be a need to complete any additional paperwork in relation to that change. Okay, and we've got a little bit of information for you here on students who arrived late for an exam. So a student who arrives after the start of the exam may still be allowed to sit the exam. That's entirely at your discretion as a centre. A student will be considered very late if they arrive for the exam more than 1 hour after the awarding body's published starting time for an exam. So after 10:30 for morning exams and after 2:30 for afternoon exams. A student who arrives very late and is permitted by the centre to sit the exam must still be allowed the full time allocated for the exam. And where a student arrives very late for an exam, you must send the script to City and Guilds in the normal way and then submit our very late arrivals form. You can find that on our website within the Conducting Examinations tab on our Centre Document Library or on our Exams Support Hub. Okay, so we wanted to provide additional guidance for you as to how students should complete multiple choice answer sheets. We have seen a number of examples of students completing the answer sheet incorrectly, which has caused issues with the scanning and could affect the timely issuing of results. So some examples of things to avoid are circling answers rather than filling in the circle. Wide circles can stray into the cancel box and can invalidate the answers. Tapping pens on the paper, scribbles, smudges or ink blotting, that leaves marks which can be picked up by the scanner, causing misreadings of the answer sheet. Scribbling a large area when filling in a circle. If the marks run into the cancel box, this will be read by the scanner as cancelled. And leaving 2 or more answers selected without cancelling the incorrect ones. So when preparing your students for these exams, please emphasise that they must fill in the answer sheet correctly and avoid the errors listed above. We would additionally like to remind you of these important points. So for multiple choice exams, please only send back completed answer sheets for students who are present. Students who were absent should be marked accordingly on the invigilation certificate, and the answer sheet for those students can be destroyed. If photocopying an answer sheet onto coloured paper as part of an access arrangement, please ensure you review the quality of the sheet before you return it to us to prevent poor quality photocopies which can't be scanned or which generate scanning errors. And please, if an answer sheet is photocopied onto a different piece of paper, please do not return the blank copy as well. That can be destroyed. If a student completes the exam responses in the question booklet, it is your responsibility to securely transcribe the answers for the student onto the correct answer sheet. Please do not return the answer booklet to us as they cannot be scanned. But you should retain the answer booklet in those circumstances for safekeeping in case of any queries which emerge later on. Okay, and the final stage of our roadmap is returning exam materials. So on this slide is a checklist of do's and don'ts for returning exam materials. So please do return materials to the correct address. Pre-printed address labels are provided, and the address is also on the invigilation certificate, as I mentioned earlier. Please do send materials via recorded tract signed for delivery. Please do use a reputable courier such as Parcelforce or Royal Mail. And please do provide details of what you've posted, including a tracking number through our script return tracking form, which I'll be showing you in a little while. And please do not return materials late. All completed materials must be returned on the same day as the exam. Please do not return materials to the wrong address. Please do not return any unused question papers for students who were absent. These must be securely destroyed. And please do not mix scripts and invigilation certificates from different exams in the same return package. Okay, so on this slide, we've got more information for you on word processed pages. So if a student uses a word processor for their exam as part of an access arrangement, word processed pages must be labelled with the student's enrolment number and the exam number. Word processed pages must be securely attached to the relevant student's answer booklet. You must also fill in the student's details on the answer booklet front page and indicate the number of additional pages attached as word processed pages in the corresponding box on the answer booklet. And you may retain electronic copies of word processed scripts as long as it's stored securely. An electronic copy may be accepted where the printed copy has been lost, provided you can demonstrate that the electronic file has been kept securely at your centre. Okay, so on this slide, we've got more information for you on additional pages. So if a student uses additional pages for their exam, the additional pages must be labelled with the student's enrolment number and the exam number. The additional pages must be securely attached to their answer booklet, with their answer booklet obviously filled in on the front page. And you must indicate on the front of the answer booklet how many additional pages have been used in the corresponding box that is provided for you on the answer booklet. Okay, so once the exam has finished, please ensure that all present students' exam scripts and their invigilation certificates are packaged together and placed inside the grey City & Guilds plastic envelope. As I mentioned, it is important that you do not mix invigilation certificates and scripts from different exams in the same package. Please write your centre number, assessment number, and the number of student scripts you have enclosed in the top left corner here of the grey plastic envelope. And please do use the correct pre-printed yellow return sticker and stick it in the space in the centre of the grey plastic envelope. Please note the yellow sticker is not a prepaid service. It's not part of the yellow label service, and you will still need to provide tracking via a courier company when dispatching your exam scripts. Okay, so on this slide, we're going to look at the return address for exam materials. Please only return your exam stationery and material by using the pre-printed address on the return labels. The address is provided on this slide for your reference and can also be found on the bottom right of the invigilation certificate. And this is really important. I just want to make you aware that we now have a single return address for all exam scripts for both written and multiple choice exams. We hope that that will provide a simpler, more streamlined process for you. So please do return all exam scripts for written and multiple choice exams to the address on this slide. It will be on the pre-printed return labels and on the invigilation certificate as well. And please do not return unused question papers or scripts for students who were absent. These must be securely destroyed. And please do not return exam materials to any other address than the one on this slide and on the return labels. If you're unsure, please contact Centre Operations using the details provided on this slide. Okay, so now we're going to look at the script return tracking form. Once the exams have been packaged up, please use our script return tracking form to send us the details, which we can monitor to ensure that the scripts are received. A link and QR code to take you to this form will be sent out with exam materials. The link and the QR code are also provided on this slide for you, and you will also receive an email containing this link. We appreciate that this is an extra step for you to complete, but it means that we can track the return of exam materials, and then hopefully we won't need to contact you about any outstanding scripts. Okay, so if you have any questions or you need any additional help and support, you can contact us using the details provided on this slide. So that brings us to the end of the webinar. I'm aware that colleagues have been answering questions in the Q&A function throughout. If you do have any questions you'd like to ask before we close the webinar, please do submit them through the Q&A function now. And we'll leave the webinar open so that those can be answered. But thanks for attending, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.